Yeah, I mean, it's very important for people to realize that what we're creating is not something that's meant to make you okay with the status quo. You know, it's not designed to make you roll over and go to sleep and say, well, okay, you know, make me feel good.
So here we go again then.
Yeah, another Tuesday evening.
Tuesday, the 15th of July 2014. My name is Paul.
My name is Andy.
And this is the Unpenned Show.
It certainly is.
Our second, my second show today. Already done the first one.
You have.
With Mr. Barry Trower. That's actually on the YouTube channel now, and this is 9:20 Tuesday evening. Interesting guy, Mr. Trower.
He certainly is. Yeah.
He's known amongst our community as the microwave radiation guy, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
But working for MI5, as he did, he also had other tasks to perform before then.
He certainly did, yeah.
So that show's already up there. It's very current to what we're talking about now, and that's that Barry, while working for MI5, actually was working within Wormwood Scrubs prison, the B wing. And that was the Borstal, the younger offenders type wing. And he's kept records because he was intelligence gathering for MI5 in the late 60s and 67 through to 78. He was intelligence gathering for MI5 on who was coming to see these boys of note. And this is very much ties in with the losing of the dossier, the paedophile dossier, the report that Leon Britton slipped through his fingers or whatever. And Barry contributed that report, and what he contributed may have been lost by those that he gave it to, but he has the original information still under his lock and key.
Good for him.
He's offered to submit it and represent himself at any tribunal and submit his own information personally, and as yet is in limbo.
I'd love. I know we've interviewed Barry Trower before, haven't we? And an interesting guy. And I think what I'd ask him next time if I get a chance to speak to him would be his awakening, because he was working for the establishment. He was MI5. He helped.
He was working for him since he was 20. He was awake then.
He was a physicist, wasn't he? He helped develop the microwaves, didn't he?
Well, it's the newspaper report that I've got here. Claims he was just working within prisons, but obviously that's what he's okay with. But in other interviews, he's said much more than that, hasn't he?
He has, yeah.
So the newspaper report is the newspaper report, and that's the information he's given them. But it doesn't take 5 minutes to search the internet to realise that the newspaper's got the simpler version of what he's been up to, as opposed to what he was really up to.
And
I like him enormously.
I do.
I like him enormously. He's a proper gentleman.
He was one of the guests that we had on that really stood out with me.
So I did. We've done that separately. I did that separately today because it was just a chance this afternoon. I saw the newspaper article.
Yeah.
And I gave him a ring. They said, "Shall we do half an hour now?" And his half an hour turned into an hour. And the information's out there now. I searched the internet, searched YouTube. Very little about it so far. And the way to sort of try and keep people in the news and in the public eye is to get their information out.
Yeah.
You know, if God forbid, if something would happen to Mr. Trower, let's say yesterday, then this information would have only got as far as the local press.
It would,
and it wouldn't have got much further.
No.
Whereas now, to spread it all over the internet, such something untoward happen. The evidence that there was a reason for something untoward to happen is there.
And he stands by his morals. He doesn't have Wi-Fi in his home.
He doesn't.
He has one telephone which is connected to a landline.
It is a telephone. It only works on mono as well. The recording caused me a bit of problems.
I know, and he does stand by his principles. And he has come out as a whistleblower, and I do know the BBC in particular have tried to discredit him, as have a few other people. But he stuck by his guns, and good for him for doing it.
Buggering British children for years.
Exactly, yeah. And it's sick, isn't it?
It's becoming uncomfortable, isn't it? Because
it is.
I mean, you and I have been aware that there's all sorts of no good going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Maloney and the Pie and Mash films and all the people who are helping him.
Yep.
in our little news arena, we're very much aware of what's going on here.
Yeah.
But the general public, who are really wandering through life, dreaming and sleeping most of the time,
well,
they don't pay attention to anything.
Well,
they just get headlines, repeat headlines, then replace headlines and say them again.
We use the word bugger in our language and have done for a long, long time.
Oh, we know what he means.
As a matter of course.
But we should know what he means,
we
don't. We don't know. Well, we've made the claim
means.
many years ago now. We don't know what we're saying.
No.
And yet what we're saying is completely accurate as to how life actually works.
Yeah.
It's our ability not to be able to decode it that's causing the problems here.
I'm just thinking, terms of endearment, really, in our... as we were growing up, when you were a little kid and hello, Buggerlugs, how are you doing? And you wouldn't... Today, that takes on a different connotation altogether, doesn't it?
But the word's always meant that.
But it always has meant that, yes.
Remember in the schoolyard when you used to hear swear words, and because you were really sort of copying your peers at that time, you would repeat them.
Yeah.
They say, you don't know what it means, do you? You don't know what it means, do you? You don't know what it means, do you?
And the person that was saying that didn't know what it meant either, really.
But they were seeing if you knew.
Yes.
They were trying to find out. School is nothing but an indoctrination service, so you can serve the system. But it also teaches you where you belong in the system.
It does.
Are you top, middle, or bottom? The top, obviously, they're the ones that are interested in the system. That's why the filter system works in education, because they're only interested in the top.
Yeah.
Okay, the middle ones, they're there to feed and supply the top.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for, and the people at the bottom are basically there to do whatever they're told to do. They don't have to think, they just have to do.
And every business model works on that ethic, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It's all a casted system.
It is. Yeah.
We can argue about this isn't natural, it's not normal, it doesn't follow natural law. These arguments have no weight in today's conversations.
No.
We had an interview with Niall Murphy last week, which I'm going to attach to this show this evening. Shamanic Freedom Radio .podcast.com, I think is full address.
Bit of a mouthful. That. I think he needs to rethink that one.
It's under last week's YouTube entry.
Yeah.
And I'm going to attach it to this one tonight. So we're going to have we'll have had 3 uploads today by the time we finish, which
Very
is
good.
quite a workload for me,
isn't
it?
It's quite a record, that.
But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that we keep talking about how things used to be, and of course that's living in the past.
Yeah.
Well, that's what dead people do. You say P-A-S-T, but I hear P-A-S-S-E-D. And this is the problem. We don't create anything of value or interest. We might create it between ourselves.
Yes.
But it's just vocal, isn't it?
It is.
This is just an oral shared experience. And I know this oral shared experience is something that I don't expect you to pay me for. And we do this service for free. But not all services are free. And it depends if you're able to offer this service for free. You and I can offer this service for free because our income comes from elsewhere.
It does, yeah.
Our income comes from our own efforts.
Yeah.
Our own work day, which we control.
Yep.
You're in control of who and what and how and what you charge for your services.
Yep.
Because you're self-employed. And I'm self-employed. This is a luxury that has made us different to other people, isn't it?
It has, yeah.
Because it's very hard to get people who are employed to accept that is modern day slavery. You'll do as you're told, and you'll get paid what we give you. And if you don't, you'll have to leave. Now, you can choose who your master is, but by choosing who your master is, you've allowed him to dictate what you'll do for him.
Yeah.
And if you're not happy, you'll leave.
Well,
and then you run to mummy and daddy and say, please may I have some money? Which, of course, is the real mummy and daddy, or the social service welfare net that makes the difference up between what mummy and daddy can help and what the new mummy and daddy want to do, because they want to pretend they're there for you. the safety net or the rug will be soon pulled away.
Will.
In times to come.
Michael Gove just said it to they just played a clip tonight on when he was addressing the Union of Head Teachers, NUT, meeting, and he said the same thing to people that were getting up and asking him questions, and he was saying they basically in a lot more words than this, but saying if you don't like it, you can leave and get another job.
But that's where we are.
You
see, you and I employ people, and that's. I don't exactly use those words, but for the youngsters that I've employed over many years now, I actually say to them, and they get a little bit of a shock. I say, look, the relationship that you and I are going to have is nothing like the one that you've had with anybody else. I'm not going to be like your mum, and I'm not going to be like your dad. I won't be like your uncle or your granddad. I won't be like your brother or your sister, and I won't be like your teacher. And I want you to understand one thing. I don't care about you in the way that those people do. I don't care what you do between the hours of me not seeing you. And I don't want to know what you do between the hours of me not seeing you. Now, you and I have had a chat, and you've agreed to help me out with the things that I need doing. So I've described the duties to you, and I've said how much you'll get paid. And we've shook hands, and we've agreed a deal. Now, listen to that word, agreed. Because people don't hear the word greed in agreed, do they?
No.
And when two people shake hands on a business deal, it's because they both think they're going to benefit from it. In other words, I think I'm going to benefit from employing this young man. In other words, I get what I need doing at a price that I can afford to pay that leaves my business still able to make a profit. Now, this young man shakes hands with me and thinks, I'm going to get money for washing up, and it'll be easy, this. So it's his desire for money and my desire to earn a profit that has made us do the business deal. But because the youngsters, they don't think that far ahead, why would they? But they do realise that the relationship with me is, can you please do this now? And it's not like they can say, no, I'll do it later. If it's all right, I don't fancy doing that now. I'd rather do something else. Or don't really think I can do that. They don't have the option now. And you can see the difficulty the youngsters have with adjusting to a work style ethic. They're not ready. And I don't blame the kids. Oh, I don't blame the kids at all. I get kids coming from me who they don't know in advance which tap's hot. All right, they don't know which one's going to be the hot tap. They've not ever been asked to remember which side of the sink is the hot tap on. They've never used a tin opener. And they've always been able to answer people back. And then they come to see me. And they get a real big shock because they say, I don't really want to talk to you because I'm busy doing something else. And I don't really want you to say, didn't hear you, sorry, forgot, too busy, didn't have enough time. You see, because I'm not really bothered. Because I know how long this job takes. And once I show you how to do this job in a logical manner, you'll find that you can do it easily within the time and do one or two other things to make you, to finish your shift. They don't realise that I mean it.
They think it's negotiable.
The parents don't prepare them. They're not prepared at all. And sometimes with a few I've had to say, well, we've had a little go, haven't we? And you agreed you'd do this for this price, and I showed you, and you said you could do it, and after a few goes, you can't do it, can you? So what we'll do is we'll say thanks for coming, and perhaps washing up in a chip shop is a little too much for you. I've had the parents down the day after. I've had the parents twice as happened. How dare you? How dare you? You finished him. He's only young, it's his first job. I say, it's only washing up and he's rubbish at it. So it's his first job. I say, well, if you'd have taught him better how to wash up, I'd be happy to pay him. But he can't remember which tap's hot. He doesn't know what clean is. He just thinks wetting them matters. You just have to wet them and then magically wash the bloody selves. So you haven't taught him how to wash up, so I can't pay him because you didn't teach him. This has caused trouble.
I can imagine. Just over washing up.
Just over washing up in the chip shop, yeah. It's been an eventful week in the world that we live in, though, hasn't it? It's been an eventful week. Let's change tack a little bit there, because picking on youngsters is... The parents of the children are the ones that we should be looking at.
Yeah.
Fair and square. We live in a system of learned helplessness. In other words, we can't stop ourselves making our lives easier by inventing ways to make life easier.
Yeah.
But of course, that mostly involves handing over jobs that we would do manually over to technology. I mean, this really started with the ladies coming out of the house in the 50s and 60s and going to work. And there was immediate demand to make a woman's life in the kitchen easier because she had less time in it. So the gadget world that we live in now started in earnest after the First World War and really came to being. I mean, you've seen the black and white washing machine adverts. That was one of the first things that you could buy on credit. One of the first things was washing machines and televisions. In the days when debt was something to be ashamed about. And now it's almost worn with a pride, isn't it? Now it's, I mean, we live in Ripon, and 11 miles south of us is Harrogate. And we actually sort of, we speak of Harrogate in like, that's where the people with big overdrafts live, isn't it? They pretend to be rich. You know, the people in Ripon here, they've got dirt under the fingernails and they try and keep out of trouble, but the people in Harrogate, they've got Range Rovers and an image to put together, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
And it's just 11 miles, and it couldn't be it's completely two completely different places, isn't it?
It certainly is, yeah. Yeah.
You know, we go to Harrogate now, and I feel uncomfortable in the restaurants, like I'm not good enough to be there. I know I am, of course, but you don't get treated in a way that says, "What a pleasure to have you here, sir." We're not wearing a suit and tie, and we're not going to leave a 20 quid tip, are we?
No.
This is the problem, isn't it?
No.
Back to kids, though. They are the future.
We've got
to teach them what they need. We have to teach them what they need to know. You've got good news about your boy. Your boy's doing really well, isn't he?
He is, yeah. Yeah, he's doing well as a Sparky, yeah.
Good news to hear. Anyway, let's move on, because this week we have the government just about closing down for the summer recess. Which is there 6 or 7 weeks. I think they're about 8 or 9 weeks holding on there. Yeah. And I'm sure that they're going to go and help gather the harvest aren't they?
They are, yeah.
They're actually going to take more time off than we get.
Back to the constituencies, the hard work to be done.
That's right.
Yes.
Back to
listening to the problems we've all got.
Are you shoveling it, Omar? Because I can smell something in here. You smell gas. It is shameful, isn't it?
It is.
I was talking to Barry Trower today. He said he cannot get near his MP.
No, but
we can't get near ours.
No.
I've rang once and emailed twice. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing at all. Can't get near him.
Far too busy.
Well, but they shouldn't be far too busy. They should be accessible to us. They're our member of bloody Parliament.
This is supposedly the way democracy works.
Well, we're surrounded by people who usually have very little skill, very little money, but an awful lot of ideas of how the world should run, so they can survive with very little skill and very little money.
Yes.
Now, I realise that this system, it does filter down poorest to richest to poorest, that sort of thing, rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief, that sort of... And I know lots of people who would say this system is corrupt and broken and we should throw it away and we should start a new one. What's the point of taking part in that conversation? Because that can't happen, can it?
No.
Now, we have some people who say, lose the name, win the game. Does that mean anything? It's a bit like, I'm loving it, or just do it, or live for now, or hope and change. It doesn't bloody mean anything, does it?
No, they're just words.
Lose the name, win the game. And everyone says, lose the name, win the game. And I think, what does that mean?
What game's to be won?
What do you do exactly? Yeah. What exactly do you do? Well, apparently, you just don't call yourself by the name that you've been born by.
Right.
Okay, so far so good. I'm with it. You haven't lost me yet.
As thousands of people do on
Right.
Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of thing.
In virtual world.
Yeah.
In virtual world, the animation of the persona...
The avatar version.
This is the animation of the persona. This is where you could go in here and be whoever
Anybody
you want.
to be. Yes.
And you can make up a whole life that never existed.
Yep.
And it can be shady, and you can change it occasionally, and you alter it to suit whoever you're talking to. This, of course, is...
Because they've never met you and don't know you.
This is what psychopaths and liars do. You see, so what you do is, right, you go on here with this idea that you've got that nobody else has thought of. And everybody else who's interested in what you're doing, right, you have to say that they are all idiots and I am right. Okay? So you've just blown the competition out of the water, and the only man left standing is you. So, boys and girls, I'll be right. They're all wrong. Don't listen to them. I have the solution to the world's problems. Bullshit.
It is bullshit.
It's rubbish.
Well, you just have to research your name, your family name. I did the lamb, and we've got our own coat of arms. We originated from Essex. We're proper Trowies.
Lose the name. Lose the name. Lose the name. Win the game.
That's it.
Now you've got to forget all that. Okay?
I have, yeah.
Because that's not you.
No,
it's not you.
No, that isn't me.
It's your birth certificate's
That's
not you.
Up me, is it?
Right. It's
all right.
It's the corporation that's you.
Of course, yes.
Right. So, and the reason that you've
Corporate
been made,
UK
right,
PLC
that they don't
version.
tell you, is that you had to be able to trade with the new system they had in of slavery.
Yeah.
See, before all this stuff, right, it was just straightforward whips and chains and chop your bloody head off if you broke the law. It were pretty basic, but we were getting a bit sick of it. We were getting a bit uppity. They needed to educate us. They had a new system coming in, so we had to figure out we need to number all these people. We need to give them a way of interacting with the new services, and we need to be able to charge these new employers taxes for all their boys and girls. So we have to expand our system of feudalism, update it, make it more sophisticated, tag and mark all these people with birth certificates and socialised numbers, and then they can all work for us in the big farm. Rather than relying on the landowners and that sort of thing, we, as a central government, we can take charge of all the attacks that we're going to make upon these people. Right, but lose the name, right? Right, lose the name, win the game, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not you, right? You're not Andy Lamb.
No.
Okay, all that family heritage.
Forget
it's all illusion.
Yeah.
Right? It's not who you are. It's not where you came from.
It's your slip.
And it doesn't matter.
Brought by slavery.
That's right. Just forget it. Just forget it.
Yeah.
It's illusion. It's an illusory world, this real world, but the internet's real.
Yes.
Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Money is illusory. Okay, this world we live in is an illusion, but the internet is bloody real. These people are falling for this stuff, right? Lose the name, right? Now, do you think you can apply for a driving licence with that name? Do you think you can?
No.
Nope, you'll have to make one up and then you'll have to prove it's you. Yeah. So, can you get a driving licence with that name? No.
Will they need...
But you won't need... You don't need a driving licence because you're travelling.
I'm going to say...
You see, so lose the name, I can still drive.
Will they call it the traveller's licence?
Yeah. Are you still shoveling something? Because that door's not shut yet. Right, so, we've established that because the internet says you'll still be able to drive. Will you have insurance? Wait, you don't need it.
You don't need
it, do you? You don't, because I've heard it on the internet.
I'm a careful driver.
I've heard it on the internet. You don't need insurance. No, you're all right. You don't need insurance on the internet because you just have to say that you're driving because you're...
All my accidents have been minor accidents. I've never injured anybody.
But you're a free man on the land.
Yeah.
You're all right. Fine. You're a free man on the land. You're okay. Don't you keep up. Lose the name, right? Lose the name, win the game, right? You're a free man on the land. You don't need insurance.
No.
You don't need it because there's a bond attached to your birth certificate that no one's ever cashed in, but we know exists, that there's no proof of, really, but it's on the internet, so it might be real.
Right. Where are they going to get the money from?
But it might be real because it's on the internet.
When I cash this money in, where's it going to come from?
Well, I don't even know if it's there for you to cash in, to be honest. But there are firms that you can pay 250 quid.
Oh, can you?
And I think they'll get it for you.
All right. 250
But
sounds like a bargain.
Do you remember early days when we found them? We'll help you with that. We could go to the bank, we can hand over the necessary paperwork, and you'll get paid.
Do we have
anyway,
would I have to sign their agreement
Stop
first?
putting in. Right, I've been practicing this for the past few minutes. So You've got a car without a driving licence.
Yes.
You're driving it without insurance.
Without insurance, yeah.
Right now, where are you going to live? Where are you going to live, do you think?
Oh.
Well, we'll come back to that because you're going to need some money. Where's that going to come from? Because I've not found anybody who's cashed in the birth certificate bond yet.
No.
So, where are you going to live?
Yeah.
Where are you going to live?
I don't know.
Do you think you should have a donate button on your site? And that should generate enough income. Shall we have a donate button and pretend that is?
I could get somebody to build it for me.
How?
Where would I get the land from, though? Who owns the land that want it from? Or is it just mine anyway?
I think the Wigwam company could help here.
All right, yeah.
I think you could probably do a job
Sounds
for it with
good.
Wigwam.
I think we've got this sorted. You know.
I think we're laughing, don't you?
Just last
So
5 or 6 minutes, we've sorted it all out.
we have. And you don't need a national insurance number to work.
No.
Not because you don't want any of the services, because you're going to live out of the system.
Yeah.
That means no doctors, no dentists.
No.
Okay? There's no one here to help you should you need it, because you've decided that you want to live out of the system in a wigwam on some land that you'll find that you can use. Good, right.
Nobody's
so far,
yet.
so good.
Yeah.
So you can work, live in a wigwam.
Yeah.
You can't really drive a car, but the internet says you can.
Who am I going to work for? What am I going to do?
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to work on that one for next week.
What should we do?
I don't know. I could go garden for somebody.
Could a street sweeping?
Street sweeping.
That's taken. That's already taken. That council have got that one.
Oh, they are.
Been emptying. Council have got that one. Gardening.
Gardening.
Do
Yeah.
you think of any other jobs that you could do? Cash in hand, man. You.
Oh,
Cash in hand.
where's the cash going to come from?
I don't know. It's cash in hand, though. It's cash in hand.
Where do the people that pay me the cash? Where do they get that cash from?
But
If I knew where they got that cash from,
you'll have no electric.
no,
No electric. No gas. No clean what. Oh, you can. No, hang on. We've got this completely wrong. What you can do is, right, you can complain about all the things, and then you can get to live in a house that's paid for by the social.
Ah, right.
What?
I never thought of
It's
that
much
one.
easier than working.
That
What we'll
is.
do is we'll actually claim we're homeless, pretend we're looking for a job, then we'll get a little flat on the social, and we've got gas, electric, water, enough for food.
I'll get my bins emptied as well because I've got a flat.
Doctors and dentists will be all
That'll
right.
be all in.
But you're out. But you're out of the system.
Yeah.
You are out of the system, aren't you?
Sounds like a plan. I'll have that.
Yeah, I'll have that as well.
That sounds like easy plan. That one. It's easy street. That one.
But you don't tell people, do you?
No.
You're out of the system. You're fighting them at every turn. Yeah, but you don't tell people. You don't tell people you're living on social and benefits.
Oh
here.
no, you wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't do that. No,
No.
You can't do that. No.
But I know we're making fun of it and we're making light of it.
Well, we are, because there's you often hear that old chestnut, don't you? Don't shoot the messenger. Right, and it sounds like it's a blanket warning, but doesn't it depend where the message came from? You see, because the messenger can be the delivery boy or the bloody author. And if the author is delivering a message that is bullshit, and people are believing it, and then they're not only believing it, they're actually attacking other people who've got their own message to share. They're trying to make the world a better place? No, they're trying to assassinate all the characters that are opposition, aren't they? So they're left standing, so they become the winner. That's what's going on here. This is people who are broken. They've got no money, no skill, nothing at all, and they get angry and they get aggressive and they want to assassinate all the characters as if they're the good guys wear black. They've got a gun in the left hand, gun in the right hand, and they have walked in the bar and assassinated all the opposition. They stand there, turn around, back through the saloon doors, and the movie ends. Because they're right, they've won, they're the hero. This is rubbish.
It is.
There is no free lunch and there's no way out.
It isn't. It made me think of a kids' programme I used to watch when I was a kid called Catch the Pigeon with Dick Dastardly and Muttley.
You can't remember that now. That was crazy, wasn't it?
And that was intercepted. They were trying to intercept the message that was on the pigeon, wasn't they?
Yeah, which one catch it?
And that's just what's happening here. they're intercepting messages on the pigeon.
The spy who
but
doesn't
the
love us.
pigeon's just changed in its coat of many colours.
But nobody deals with reality itself.
No.
They always talk about the past and what they're going to do. Right? And it's all in the virtual world. These people believe that this is bloody real.
Yeah.
Now, you can go shopping on here and the stuff that you order does turn up. But the people at the connections, and they're living for free, and the free lunch, and this is the way out. Yeah. It maybe was years ago. And it maybe even is now.
Yeah.
But who's your gurus and what are they telling you?
Yeah.
Because you've got to ask your gurus the right questions. How are you sustaining yourself?
Yeah.
Where you living? Who's paying your bills? And you've got to ask, who are they? And where do they come from? And what experiences do they have? Because we've met people along the way who haven't lived the same lives as we have. And they're different, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're really different. Now, we're not saying they're wrong, but they're not the same as us, are they?
No, and we've tried to get on, but we don't see eye to eye, unfortunately. And
but why not?
And that's where it falls down, doesn't it?
Why not? Because
the values aren't the same.
They feel entitled, don't they?
Superior to, yes.
They feel entitled.
It's
rich people look down at us,
delusions
and poor
of grandeur.
people look at us as equal.
Yeah.
This is where it all goes a bit cockeyed.
It all goes cockeyed, yeah.
Because whether you like it or not, we do have a respectable society. In other words, able to respect.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. The monetary side of it is not what we're looking at here. What we're looking at is, who are you and what do you do? You know, those are the questions that we should ask each other. Who are you and what do you do? And if the answer is John Smith and I'm unemployed, then you're going to get, whether you like it or not, you're going to get labelled in such a way as, how long have you been unemployed? But what is it that you have a skill that you could do? And if you don't have an answer that is over and above, I'm happy to work in Tesco's, then you've answered your question, that you're only ever going to be as good as the people who are happy to sell themselves cheapest in Tesco's.
Yeah.
And you do realise that if that's the way you answer people, this society is judged on intelligence. Whether you bloody like it or not, it is.
Yeah.
The smarter people do better than the dumb people.
Yeah.
And the dumb people, they still think they know stuff. And they haven't got anything.
No.
It might be wrong. And in the natural order of things, there are other ways of doing this. But we only ever talk about how it is and what we see. And it sounds like perhaps we're criticising people, when actually all we ever do is say, this is what we see.
Yeah.
You do what you want. You do what you want. Go where you... Don't think that we're picking and poking at you. We're saying this is what we see.
This is what we see. We see people on the knees. They've been defeated.
There, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we know the system has broke your ankles and now blames you for not being able to walk.
It's whipping you to get up and walk, yeah.
But there's nothing worse than the people that we mix with, than seeing those that have learnt the system is designed to break you. There's nothing worse than seeing those people who are broken, who think they're fixing things.
Yeah.
Right? You can't fix somebody else until you fix yourself.
Yeah.
And you do realise that every decision you make is based on your own survival first. You want to make sure that you've got what you need before you can give air to somebody else.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, this is all about helping people to float, to get to the surface, to stop drowning. Well, you have to wake up from the nightmare yourself. You have to kick. You have to make it to the surface first, and then you can go back in and try and save people.
Yep. It's when it comes to the point of somebody has to do something. It's doing something that seems to put people off.
Well, doing is creation, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
You know, we have lots of people who talk and talk and talk. What did you say about the World Cup? You know, I said the World Cup, I said it's great. I said, the pundits tell you what's going to happen before the game starts. And then they tell you why it didn't happen after the game's finished. And that's what experts do. They forecast and then commentate. Well, that's what we're doing. There's nothing different. Those pundits aren't taking part in the game. And we're not taking part in the game. Well, we are taking part in the game of life because you create things, you build things, you make things different. When you finish doing what you do, something has changed.
Leave it usable. Somebody can.
But you've changed it. You've created something that may last for an awful long time. Well, I can't say that. I haven't created anything that's going to last a long time, apart from rebuilt the building that I live in, which will last a long time. So I've created a longer life for this building, but that's all I've done. I haven't really created anything else.
But you're also feeding people. It frees up.
But I employ people.
Yes, exactly.
I employ people, generate a profit, and spend it locally.
Locally, yeah, you do.
So there be the difference. We've just updated the shop. We've talked about this a couple of times before. All the money went into local pockets. Everything I bought was bought in the UK.
You bought British,
Yeah, everything. Just because I want to be able to say to people who ask me the question, I bet you bought from abroad. I said, no, I didn't. I wanted to be able to say, no, I didn't. So I made sure I didn't. Because I don't want to lie to you. Because telling lies is what gets everybody in a mess. Everybody in a mess. There are no success stories on the internet of people beating this system. I read a news article, and I don't know if it's true because I've only read the one news article. Dean Clifford, very much a head guru of the Freeman boys and girls.
Yeah, I've watched many of his videos.
But what appeared to be a genuine news story, he's been jailed for 23 years. Make of that what you want. Santos Bonacci just disappeared off the internet, as far as I can see. After the quick search, nothing. It doesn't work.
No.
I mean, you're right in thinking that you can argue, you can do your pub backroom bar lawyer game with me, and I'll give up because I don't want to talk to you about that. I'm not of interest in that. But the one thing that I will tell you is that if you're asking for justice from criminals, you're a fool. You might be able to prove to me that this is how it should be, but you've got to find a precedent. You've got to, like all good cases, anybody who takes a case to court likes to be able to quote a precedent of this was the verdict in this case. This was the verdict in this case. There is no precedent for free living unless you just walk away. You actually physically walk away, build your own little castle, and just live in it.
And then from what we've seen, it's not free. People claim to be free, but all they do is go from house to house begging for sofa to sleep on.
This was
food. Can I have some food, please? And
this was Andy Hunt, wasn't it?
Yeah,
who's been doing that for some time now.
He's been doing that for a long, long time.
And
and he's running out of places to go.
He can live his life as he likes, and we won't be judgmental.
No,
but he can. You cannot tell people how to live their lives when actually all you're doing is parasiting off others. You can't do that. It has no weight.
No, it doesn't.
It has no value.
No.
It's like a 5-year-old trying to tell his English teacher how to spell.
I've
played that before, haven't I? We've done that before.
Yeah.
If you want to be treated like children, well, act like children. Have nothing and shout all day.
Yeah.
Shout and bawl about how mummy and daddy aren't giving you what they want.
They're horrible.
They jump up and down, stamp your feet, get your paddy out, and blame everything around you. And these people say that they're trying to help humanity grow up. They're trying to be part of evolution. That they love everybody, but they don't. You can hear the vinegar in the voice. The vinegar's there. This isn't sweet medicine. This is vinegar.
Yeah.
And we say what we want to say because there's two reasons we're okay to say it. First of all, I don't need the internet for any part of my life. I don't need it. It doesn't provide me with a support. It doesn't provide me with company. It doesn't provide me with friendship. It doesn't provide me with anything that I need.
No.
But we do this because we actually think it helps us.
Yeah.
To communicate better. That's all we do this for.
Yeah.
To learn how to communicate the message better, because that is the only way that we can actually gain in what we want to live in our world.
Yeah.
And our world's here in Ripon.
Mm-hmm.
And the world that we could grow is this world here in Ripon. And over the years, I'm sure, I won't say for you because I can't speak for you, but I'm sure of myself that I've been very guilty of making a mess of communicating what I thought was an important message.
Without a doubt, yeah.
You know, I've made a real mess of it.
It's a skill you've got to learn. You've got to hone it, haven't you?
Well, that's
learn it.
That's the reason why we're doing this. I mean,
yeah.
I'd love my daughter to pick this stuff up when she's ready.
Mm-hmm.
And you said the same when your kids are ready. You'd love
Yeah,
them to.
they're not ready for it at the moment. They do agree with some bits and pieces, but then they get on the high horse, and they've got to do that because you're young and you're arrogant and you think you know it all.
But do you know what we forgot, and what we're forgetting more and more each week? And I'll tell you what it is. We forgot the death bit, didn't we? We forgot how low down you have to go here.
Yeah.
We actually forgot the pain. Because they do say that girls, when they have children, the pain is tremendous. But the moment the child's born,
oh yeah, it's elation.
The pain.
I've seen it with my wife, and you said it with your partner.
Yeah, but the pain is now.
Yeah.
From the just a few seconds ago, never again. This baby's going to break, tear me in half, whatever. But just a few minutes after, it's gone.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to liken it in a way that it's that painful, because it isn't a physical pain.
No,
it's an emotional pain.
It's an emotional pain, yeah.
But
it's you feel really you feel as low as a snake's waistcoat. I'd have said.
Well, all I can say is that
is low.
Imagine the worst breakup you've ever had. Imagine even if you're happily married, well on you. But there'll have been a time, whether it was your first love or your second love or maybe your first marriage or whatever. I don't know. I'm not trying to guess for everybody here. But imagine a time when you thought you were in a relationship that was going great, and the next day they left you. That's the pain. That you've been dropped, you've been dumped, you've been drowned, you've been left, and you didn't see it coming. You did not see it coming.
And for me, I was married and still am married. It felt to me like I was worthless. It gave me that overwhelming feeling of, what were it all for?
Yeah.
What were those... how old was I? I was 44, I think, 43, 44. What are all those 40 years? What have I done? What were they for? It was so weird.
You knew you'd been milked like a cow.
Yeah,
you knew you had been
done like a kipper.
Yeah, you knew you had.
And that was because of my own... But until you get well into it, you realise your own ignorance.
This system makes you think you know stuff.
It does, yes.
It makes you think you know stuff, and it doesn't. It doesn't tell you the truth.
It doesn't encourage you to.
It gives you
to go and learn it, does it? It doesn't.
No, and yet
it encourages you to stay dumb. It wants dumb people.
But it knows that you just read the headlines, and you think you know stuff.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying about the relationship is that it's that emotion. It's that. That's what you feel when you hit the bottom. Because you've just been told that your whole world is, for most part, counterfeit. The whole world is geared up to take everything it can off you and leave you homeless.
Leave you. It's not bothered if you don't have it. It's not bothered if you die.
But it wants
it's
to.
Not bothered.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the government here. The realisation for me was that, in some part, everybody's happy to do that to you. If they can take from you without returning.
Yeah.
If they can gain and you become poor, if they are well and you are ill, if they succeed and you fail, they don't see you. They see themselves doing better. That's what got me. That was the bit that brought tears to my eyes. Is that apart from a few very select people, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. I really knew in my heart that all the rest of the faces in my life just treated the relationship as it's just business.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. I really am sorry to hear that. And I hope things work out for you. And if I can help, please feel free to ask. And then they're gone. And you know that if you asked them for help,
it were just words. It had no.
It didn't
had
mean
no
anything.
depth or meaning. No.
Because you know when
feeling.
You know when someone's not going to help you because they use the word hope.
Yeah.
The word hope precedes the next line. Yeah, I hope things get better. And if I can help, you let me know. You know that they've put the word hope in there before that sentence. And do you know why? Because they don't want you to ask them. Because we have somehow been programmed to enjoy other people failing.
Yeah.
We've been programmed to see that as success in our own lives. Isn't that horrible?
It is.
We don't celebrate success now. You've seen the shop downstairs. You did the majority of the work for me, along with a couple of others. Our friends.
Yeah.
Oh, we did. We're all friends.
A little team. Yeah.
And you've seen the shop, and it looks quite nice, doesn't it?
It looks really good,
But
yeah.
I'm taking very little credit for that, apart from I picked the stuff, and
You did,
it looked okay in the end.
You had the design
But
concept
that's
of it
not
all.
what I'm saying. What I'm saying here is, there is an element, you know, and I felt it just a few times now, that the shop looks so much different, that the customers obviously are, wow, this has changed somewhat, and they come in, and they say, well, what a smashing change. It looks very modern and very nice, very good. And then they see me, and they say, oh, you're still here. As if they assumed that I wouldn't be. And I don't get anything that goes after that. It's not, hey, it looks great, it does, you've done it right. I just get, oh, you're still here. Oh, well, hello there. And it's from girls. And do you know what it is? The girls don't want to congratulate me on doing a good job. Because that's not how they see men, is it? The girls don't see men like that, do they? The girls are not able to congratulate men on doing a good job, are they? Some of them aren't. Some have been lovely. But there are some, a certain type, who don't want to say well done to me. Now, I don't want it. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm saying that there is a physical problem. A problem here for girls to congratulate guys. When was the last time you were congratulated by a female?
I can't remember. I
know.
No, I won't be able to.
I remember my uncle saying to my mum once, and they're both gone now, so at least I can't be held accountable for this. My mum, years ago, start the story again. And my auntie and uncle started what was the craze in the 80s and 90s of ready meals. And it started with, they started doing them in pubs first. And they would prepare them in pots and deliver them to the pubs. And the pubs would be able to extend the menu without any preparation. It was ready meals was a very new concept in, where am I now? About 79, 80. And my auntie and uncle were part of the originators of this ready meal business in North Yorkshire, which has been sold now and gone. But anyway, and they asked my mum to help, and my mum was working in a factory job at the time, and they asked if she would help, and she did help, and she helped for that business grew from supplying the local pub, the White Bear in Massam, to supplying an awful lot of pubs, 400, 500, 600, 500 pubs or so in North Yorkshire. And then it was noticed by a big multiple, whose names I can't remember, and they developed...
Dalepack?
No. Dalepack did get involved at one point, but you're right. You know, Danby's Foods was the originating company then, Danby's Foods. It was bought by Northern Foods eventually. But anyway, over those years, it developed into the supermarket ready meals. And the cash and carry ready meals and that sort of thing. And she was all part of that development team, right from sort of 79, 80, right through to what would have been 88, I think, when she bought this fish and chip shop. And I remember my uncle said, this is what he said to her, after all those years, those late nights, on the last day she was there, she was expecting some sort of leaving present. You know, because these are blood relations. This was her own brother that employed her. And she was expecting some sort of something that would be, you know, a leaving present and a big thank you, because the company had gone from supplying the local pub to, a business with over £1 million turnover in 8 years from a starter company. And she was driving around then. It was an old Vauxhall Cavalier, about 6-7 years old. And do you know what? They gave her the keys to the Cavalier, and she was absolutely heartbroken,
devastated.
And do you know what he said? He said, "There you go, there you go. Now, Chrissy, his wife, didn't want to give you, but I want you to have it." And it was a 7 or 8 year old knackered Cavalier. And she said, "Oh, thanks very much." And he said, "Well done, you. And you got paid for all of it, which is more than we did." Making out that she'd got her wages and they'd had to go without.
They'd had to go without. Right.
And do you know what? I've never forgot that day.
No, I bet you haven't.
Never forgot that. How we treat each other. How we. It's all down to bloody money, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Money, jealousy, and envy, isn't it? And jealousy and envy aren't the same thing, are they?
No, definitely.
Jealousy is wanting to repeat what somebody else has got. Envy is wanting to take it away, isn't it? It's a strange world we live in.
Certainly is.
Do we want people to do well?
Yeah. Of course we do. I do.
I want people to be bloody rich. You want people to be rich.
Yeah.
I want people to have the clothes they want to wear. I want to drive the car they want to drive. They live in the house they want to live in. Go on the holidays they want to go on.
Yeah.
Because that tells me that they're successful. They're happy. Successful, happy people, what do? They come and buy fish and chips and employ people like you to build extensions.
Yeah, of course they do, yeah.
You know, if we had a successful economy, you'd be putting swimming pools in.
Yeah.
It's hard for anyone to... We started this conversation by saying that it's an abusive relationship.
It is.
That we live in. And it's not just an abusive relationship with the government, who doesn't care about us. They never give us anything that they haven't previously stolen from us.
No, exactly that.
It only comes back with terms and conditions
Boom
attached.
And bust, which is all we know and all we've ever known.
It comes back with terms and conditions attached.
Yeah.
They steal it money-wise. They steal it in rights. They steal away our abilities to do things, and then say, "Here you go. Here's the new rules and regulations, and thank yourselves lucky." It's hard to actually understand how they can get away with what they get away with now.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got this new spying bill that's gone through this week, and all the stages of the bill. It's called DRIP, isn't it? Horror. They don't make these things up to them. They don't make these things up by mistake. They have to. They want to change the spying rules, don't they? They want to be able to want to write it into law that they can do what they want when they want, and the security services can do that. Now, normally to get laws passed, it takes a little while and quite a bit of debate. Yeah,
got to be debated in the House of Lords and then all that kind of thing.
But this was shoved through today and yesterday, wasn't it? Never been done before.
Rattled through in 3 days, was it?
It's never been done before. Never been done like this before, and now it's recess. Shoveled through. They've had months to organise this, and they save it right until this week, and then just shove it through. Last week, the public service workers, what did they want to do? They wanted to. Hang on a second. The public service workers, what did they want to do? They wanted to go on strike for a day to let them know that they weren't happy with the new terms and conditions.
Terms and conditions, yeah.
And what the government say? We're going to change the rules. We're going to make a new law that says you cannot strike. Is this dictatorship?
It certainly is.
Is this open dictatorship? Do we now have, right, a government that says we're going to bring in the right to be forgotten rule? The right to be forgotten rule. Is that censorship? What will censorship sound like if that's not it?
That's not it, yeah.
What do you think it'll sound like? The right to be forgotten rule. And they'll decide whose right it is to be forgotten and what's to be forgotten.
Yeah.
Where are we? 1984? We're way after 1984.
Well past that, yeah.
Well past this.
Yeah, the boot is definitely on the foot. The boot on the foot is definitely on the face. And holding you down. And the hypocrisy of it all, condemning ISIS and what they're doing, and riding around there and chopping people's heads off and guns. They're doing just the same thing here, but they're just doing it with bits of paper.
They get bombs and bullets, we get banks and bailout.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The pen is mightier than the sword.
You put pen and his together and you get will.
Yeah, you do get will, yeah. Will I?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's how this works.
It is.
This is might is right, whether you like it or not.
Mm.
The weak always preach love and light and peace. Mm. And there's nothing wrong with that, but unfortunately, that's not the way this works. The strong, they try and do the right things. The strong try and live in the right way. I mean, I'm not claiming to be strong or living in the right way, but I'm claiming that I know I should. I'm not, and actually I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'll never claim to be perfect. I've been broken by the system. I'm nearly 50 years old. I'm sure I've got problems coming in all sorts of health issues and things which I can't blame the system for in some ways. But I know, but it doesn't matter now because it's not about me. What it's about the information and what other people do with it.
Yeah.
You know, this is a survival of the fittest. Not because evolution says it is. Not because Darwin says it is.
No.
Not because you want to call it a theory. It's because it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they claim to be the masters of the universe. And they are hijacking creation itself. If you think God made this place, look closely what they're doing. Because they're taking his place. They're taking his position.
They are. They're doing his will.
They want to control creation. They want to improve upon it.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hammer it into place. They want to make it perfect. They say that the world was left imperfect, and they must finish the work.
Yeah, make it perfect.
They call themselves the builders, and that's what they reckon they're building. They're building a perfect society. Do I agree with them or do I disagree with them? It doesn't matter. We should be part of the conversation. We should be part of the decision-making process, and we should want to be part of it.
Yeah.
We should want to be challenging the tables. We should want to be sat at the decision-making level, and it starts right in your own backyard. There is no other method that is going to turn any of this around.
No.
I mean, the internet is the revolution is being televised because the internet's doing it for us. It's making us think that we're actually making a difference. It's giving us little victories in the smallest of ways, and we're making far too much of them. You know, we highlighted three points there this week and last week. The government is making laws openly saying, we'll make a law to stop you doing that because we don't like it.
Yeah. That's
dictatorship.
It is.
They're making laws and riding roughshod over what is democracy and parliamentary, the routines of Parliament, and saying, we want this through before the end of the recess. Now get it voted for. Do as you're bloody well told. Get this through. And they do.
It's done.
They do. They put it through.
Yeah.
If we think we're having small victories, then maybe we are. But the small victories are not going to change this. We can talk and talk and talk, but it doesn't matter.
No.
They gave us the methods to talk and talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
YouTube is free. Facebook is free. Why isn't they free? Because you won't pay to use them. You want it all for free. You've been made into children. And children don't pay for anything. Mummy and Daddy provide it all.
Yeah. And you'll do as you're told for it.
And you'll do as you're told, or eventually we'll stop your bloody pocket money.
Yeah, you'll do your chores.
And you're going to start doing chores for your pocket money. You will do as you're told. And here we are.
Yeah.
This is what's happening.
It's scary.
We're living in smaller houses. Eventually we'll be paying 2 and 3 times the square foot cost to live in a virtual coffin. You've seen them. You've seen them, the little 1-bedroom studios.
I know. I just want to add to that now. We've had people come on and leave comments and say, "Oh, I've heard this all before. You're all doom and gloom and blah." Everybody that's on the internet is all doom and gloom.
Well, they're not old enough to be listening.
You're not. No, I'm sorry,
enough to be listening.
but you're going to have to go away.
Yeah.
Wait until it's all been taken away, and then decide what you're going to do, because we'll be gone.
We will.
You and I'll be gone.
Yeah.
They'll be in our position at this point and looking round and saying, "What happened? What happened?" Well,
I actually think they'll be in little boxes. surrounded by technology.
Technology telling them what to do, when they can do it, when they can't do it, when to wipe the bum, what you can eat, what you can't eat, when you can go out, when you've got to stay in.
We talked about Barry Trowell earlier, and like I said, the YouTube is already up there. Now, my interview today with Barry is regarding his connections to VIPs and getting up to all sorts with incarcerated children, and that interview's there for you to listen to. But Barry is the author of a report which I want to mention because I want to try and see if I can divert at least one or two listeners to have a little look at the Barry Trower Wi-Fi Report 2013. We prefixed this show tonight with saying, but Barry's a lot more than just a guy who used to work in a prison.
He is.
The local newspaper has just got him down as he used to work in the prison, look after PE and do a bit of science. There's a lot more to Barry Trower than that.
He's an explosive expert.
So don't read the local rag newspaper report and think you know who Barry Trower is without doing a little bit more research. Yeah. And the Barry Trower Wi-Fi Report 2013, which he's talked about on our show, maybe about a year ago now.
It will be probably over a year ago now. Yeah.
And this is the report's entitled "Wi-Fi: A Thalidomide in the Making. Who cares?" And let me just give you the strap line for this report, and I hope you will have a little look. And this is as stated by university researchers, government scientists, and international scientific advisors. A minimum of 57.7% of schoolgirls exposed to low-level microwave radiation, which is Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, yeah.
Low-level microwave radiation are at risk of suffering stillbirth, fetal abnormalities, or genetically damaged children when they give birth. But the thing that we need to remember here is any genetic damage may pass to successive generations.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, how do we breed it out?
Mm-hmm.
Once the genetics have been broken and damaged,
how do we get them back again?
How do we reverse that?
Mm-hmm.
If both parents are genetically damaged, then they cannot make a perfect child.
Nope.
Which means that whatever child they make will have at least that damage.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that we don't discuss in depth enough sometimes. But we let others do that who are more qualified.
Yeah.
But the report is below this YouTube video. I do urge people to at least have a little look at that. If you have children and you're allowing them to use Wi-Fi, you make your own mind up. But Germany's banned it in their schools. And maybe you should find out why Germany's banned it. And then ask, well, why haven't we here?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you could ban it in your own house. We all know that mobile phones and the level of radiation in the air, it can't be good for us. It just can't be. We're not designed to suffer this level of radiation.
No.
And cancer is going to threaten 1 in 2 of us in less than 6 years. And we still don't connect the dots.
No, we don't. And if you do go find the Barry Trower interview that we did with him, thank you for him for coming on for that. He talks about that there is good Wi-Fi
that they could have chosen.
But that's far too expensive. It's more expensive than the cheap one. But I asked him, but it does exist then? And he said, yes, it does. So you know for a fact that people above our pay grade have got the better Wi-Fi and we've got the crap stuff.
We've been bathed in it, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
For another Tuesday the 15th of July 2014. My name is Paul.
Mine's Andy.
And this has been the Unpenned Show. And thank you very, very much for listening. See you all next week.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay, well, thanks for that. It's a pretty easy question to answer, really. If I go back, I did 21 years in the military. I now know that some of the things I believed in then I was misguided, but I originally joined the military because I believed that I had a country and it was worth fighting for, and I did believe at the time that I was helping to defend my country. And then when I left the service and I started to discover what was really going on, the fraud and the corruption in Plymouth, and I tried to do something about it, and the next thing I got people threatening me and sending me death threats and all sorts of crap. I sat down with a couple of guys and we actually had a discussion about it, and we said, what are we going to do? Are we going to do something or are we going to do nothing? and I can tell you that there was 8 guys around the table, and we said, we're going to do something. And from that day onwards, I started to do something. I didn't really expect it to go in quite the direction it has, but I will tell you that everything that I have learned tells me if we don't fight, not only will there be nothing left in this country, but if you've got children and grandchildren, they are going to be wiped off the face of the earth. The people we're up against are of exactly the same mentality that got going in Stalinist Russia and in Nazi Germany, and they are going to murder our children, certainly, if they achieve the regime they want. And you've got the choice. You can do nothing. You might survive depending on your age, but they're going to have your children. And I decided, and I stick to my guns, I am going to fight, because otherwise my children have absolutely no future. And this is something else which, in the beginning, I did a couple of talks, and somebody in the audience sort of said to me, what do these people want? And I said, what they want is to kill you. And you could hear a few people in the audience sucking their teeth. And somebody said to me afterwards, I think you were a bit over the top there, Brian, I don't think you should have really said that. To which I said, well, what were the people saying as they were being led off to the concentration camps? These people are taking people to war, they're engineering wars. We've got British politicians, Miliband, involved in the taking and torturing of people. If we do nothing, we might survive by living in a hole in the ground. Our children, they are going to dispatch them. And that's why I'm fighting. When you get in that sort of mentality and you see this thing for what it is, do I fear for my safety? No, I don't, because I've just decided that basically, not fighting is not an option. Do I try and fight clever? Absolutely, because you can go and do things which are bloody stupid, and you're going to find that you're going to be cornered. But people who are still sending round email circuits as though they can sit in their armchair and have a little whinge, the people in government are working at the moment on how to murder us. When I'm sorry, this sounds a little bit big-headed, but when you know what I know about what they're really doing to the children, you just say, we've got to do something to stop this. I've had relations dying in very mysterious circumstances in hospitals where the hospital staff have then lied and covered up. And I've had tens of people calling me from other parts of the country telling me the same story. We're getting 5, 6, 7, 8 calls a week from mums off their heads because their children have been taken, and those children are being abused or psychologically tortured. It's an absolute cesspit, and we have got to do something about it. But it's no good people running around with bloody baseball bats. We've got to really start going for the few people in the positions of power who are dealing with this. But no, I absolutely don't wake up wondering why I do it. I know why I'm doing it. The times I get frustrated is when I think to myself, we haven't got all the assets or all the people to do what we need to do. If all of the activists out there, whatever parties they've been involved or organisations, if everybody would do something effective, we would be really starting to get to grips with this thing. And there is no other option. That's all I can say, really.